Hi, I'm Lucian. I am a prototypical American man. For most of my life, it's been difficult to stay in shape and not gain weight. This actually started when I was young. When I was 11 years old, I had to buy a new suit because I was going to be introduced to the governor of my state. And when my mother took me to the store to try on suits, the only suit that would fit me was labeled Husky. My mother tried to make me believe that the word meant something else, but I was a smart young man, and that was actually the reason I was going to visit the governor of my state. I knew what husky meant. That night when I went home, I cried myself to sleep. I didn't want to be husky, and I decided I was going to do something about it. And so at age 11, even before puberty hit, I started exercising. And remember, this was early 70s. I started eating better and learning about things like nutrition and vitamins. By the time puberty hit, I was no longer a husky young man. And I became an athlete in high school, and I went on to be an athlete in college. By the time I got into my 20s, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in my life. I was very muscular, and I was incredibly fit overall. But after leaving the university and entering my career, I found that it was much more difficult to devote enough time to be able to stay in shape and not gain weight. Then as my career moved on in my 30s, I became involved in a project that basically turned me into a sedentary person. It kept me in front of a computer screen or in front of a workbench for long periods of time, many years actually. And what happened was, I wasn't eating as well because of the late nights and the long hours and the stress that was involved in that project. By the time I got into my late 30s, I had become overweight and out of shape. I am 5'7". At 39, I weighed 184 pounds, and that was a lot. And I decided, just like I did when I was 11, that I wasn't going to stay that way. So I embarked on a unique training protocol. And by the time I was 40, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in my life again. And I was in superior shape to even my early 20s, which was the best shape I'd been in up to that point. I did a lot of crazy things when I was 40 and in such great shape. I became a professionally sponsored triathlete where I met my wife, and we got married and decided to start a family. Well, 2 amazing teenage sons, and 20 years later, and I'm back to where I was when I was in my late 30s. I've gained weight, and this just happened over the last few years. The first part of when my wife and I had children, it was easier to stay in shape because I was actively trying to keep up with the boys. But recent research has shown that there's 2 points in your life where you rapidly age. The first one is at 40, and then the other one's at 60. Well, at 40, I fought back aggressively against it, and I was able to stave off most of the obvious effects of the aging that occurs at 40. Well, I'm in my early 60s now, and I've gone through that second aging phase. And my children are in their upper teenage years now, and I honestly can't keep up with them anymore. And the truth is that, as I was saying, I've always been physically fit. This is hard for me. My body has been my greatest tool. There's practically nothing that I wasn't able to do with my body. And unfortunately, I'm no longer able to work and perform the things that I used to be able to do with my body. Put in the time, put in the work, put in the physical exertion if necessary, put in the mental exertion, which is mandatory. And I'm not able to do that the way I did when I was younger. But just like I did when I was 11 and like I did again when I was 39, I've decided I'm not going to stay this way. So I'm going to embark on that same unique training program that I told you about I did in my 40s. It turns out that was actually utilizing some technology that I developed on that project during my 30s, which kept me glued to the computer and workbench for so long. I'll tell you more about the technology and the training protocols that I'll be utilizing. But I just wanted to come out and let you know this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to utilize that system to get myself back into shape. And I'm going to let you come along for the journey. I'm going to track my progress, and I'm going to stream the exercise training bout so you can see it. I'm going to take basic measurements of my body, my mass, my weight, and I'm going to document all of that, even to the embarrassment of myself. So, if you're interested in hearing more about the technology that I'll be using, or if you're just interested in following along as an older guy attempts to get back in shape and keep up with his teenage sons, I hope you'll tune in and watch as this experiment and this adventure begins. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to see new installments. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.